I mean, we really do have a lot to cover. A lot of crap
Yeah,
going on
dude.
around here.
So much. It's raining crap. It's crapping on
I
me.
got a bag full of fun here. I got some parts for my guitar. See, this guitar up here has blue tape all over it.
Okay, yeah.
I had to take it apart and rewire it because the way it came to me, someone had jacked the wiring up. It was done wrong, and I couldn't figure out why it didn't sound good. So I pulled all the wiring out of it, and I'm like, oh, that's why.
Is it like the wrong string was playing on the wrong pickup? How do you wire it wrong?
Not that, but it had like extra resistors across the output jack. Don't know why. And then it had the wiring going in and out of the tone pot. It was weird. So I had to fix that problem. Got a new switch.
Switch.
That's only $50. It's stupid. Hey everybody, welcome to FFIB. I'm Jason. That's Tom. We're finger flicking box. Somebody actually asked the other day if they knew the secret of FFIB on the coin. It made me laugh. And what made me very happy and warmed my heart was that at least 2 other people had posted the screenshot of the original inception. That made me happy.
I think it was May 2020. Believe
I've asked in the past that people save that and use it for good. Yeah. And it looked like a couple of people had obliged me, and I was happy.
I definitely saw that. And there's always new answers to that question though, which is why it's an evergreen funny joke. Like, I don't mind, people can ask that every day, because every day they'll come up with like 100 new dumb answers, so that's okay. People enjoy it.
Yep. Friends flicking intensely benchmades. No. Yeah, anyway, it's source of constant amusement to us guys, because I don't know. I went on a jag the other day with somebody. I don't remember who that poor bastard was that I was talking to on the phone, but we were talking about the concept of like new and how like new means used. Like new does not mean new. The word like removes the newness from the word new. So if you see something that says like new, it means it's used. So don't call things like new. If you want to make the world a better place for your children, don't participate in like new. So finger flicked and box was born from that whole concept. Like, you buy a knife, you didn't cut anything with it, but you did finger fuck it for a week.
And honestly, it's like there's levels to this. Like, FFIB is a very good summation of the concept, but there's BNIB, FFIB, LNIB. So if someone told me something was LNIB, I'd question it. I'm like, I know it's FFIB for sure. Probably been in the pocket. Probably got some lint all up in them crevices from the pocket.
See, I would prefer you say brand new in box, meaning it's probably never been out of the plastic. That doesn't include scale swaps, by the way, guys. A great way to get banned from this group is to scale swap and then call it brand new in box. It's not. You've got finger flicked in box, which I think counts for most of us that are watching the shows anyway. We buy knives and then we finger flick them for 2 weeks, and then we go, this isn't a keeper. That would be FFIB, right? But if you're going to carry it for a while, that's a light user. Let's just go to light user. How light? Well, I carried it. It's got pocket lint. Oh, well, did you cut anything? I don't think so. All right. It's a pretty light user. But I'd prefer to just get away from LNIB because it doesn't mean anything. And then there's a guy I'm getting ready to ban, Tom, as soon as the refund goes through. This guy sold a knife as like new. It had been dyed. The scales, the liners had been like heat anode or something. And then also the detent ball was missing.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, what? And then he hassled the guy that bought the knife. He wouldn't give him a full refund. He only gave him a partial refund. So we'll just wait for that to clear. And then that guy's getting out of here. I don't want him around.
No.
You know what happens when somebody gets mad after I sell them a knife and they say that it's not in the condition I said it was? I give them a full refund and I email them a label and I apologize because I just want it over.
Yeah. You just want to end it. Make it clean.
How you maintain your integrity. You go, hey, my fault. Let me send you a label. Here's your money back. Mail me
there is some. I love it when I try to sell something and someone like comments in on the post and someone sends me a message and it goes to my spam folder and someone sends me a message that comes to my normal folder. And I'm trying to sort out who gets the knife first. You can, as a seller, decide not to sell somebody a knife too. Because usually you're just thinking about it as a buyer. Like, having a bad experience as a buyer is like, oh, I'm going to get screwed or scammed. But if
Yep.
you're the seller and you're dealing with just like a pain in the ass person, you don't have to sell them something. Like if
You do
you
not.
suspect someone's going to get back to you and have complaints and questions and poke holes and everything, just don't even sell them whatever it is. Just move on. There's no rules saying you have to sell to the first person that said in on your post and then tickled your little belly button and got your attention. Like you can sell to whoever you want.
Yeah. It's also okay to go, hey, I'm getting the vibes from you. Not down to sell it to you. Thanks
Yeah.
thanks for your interest. If somebody gives you grief about that, let us know.
I think it's funny from an outside perspective, getting to see a lot of transactions happen like in screenshot form, and the level of people's anxiety and paranoia about getting scammed really like seeps out into their verbiage. So it's two people that are both scared of getting scammed, trying to like poke at each other, saying like, "Are you real? You
Right.
real? You want to send me?
Right.
You send me your name written on this?" And like,
Are you real? Are you real, bro?
and then I get sent screenshots asking, "Does this seem like legit?"
How's the weather in Lagos? Where's Lagos? Oh. It's capital in Nigeria, everybody. When I do find scammers, Tom, by the way, I like to send them back like the address of the governmental building in downtown Lagos where they investigate crimes. Like I'll Google like FBI Nigeria and find their address.
FBI.
Not FBI, but you know what I mean. Like wherever the government police are in Nigeria, I'll find
Yeah.
that building and then I'll send them that address. I'll go, I'm over here. Speaking of, had some pretty significant scam activity on me recently. So I have one account that I've been using for all of my online purchases since, I don't know, 25 years maybe. I've been using the same Hotmail account. So I don't use it for correspondence. I don't use it for anything other than like online purchases. But somebody took a run at that account hard the other day and kept trying to break in, and I kept getting password requests and password
Oh yeah.
requests, and I get PIN numbers in my text message because I've got two-factor.
Yeah.
So as they were trying to break in, the two-factor was kicking in. So then I had to go into that account and I had to like raise the level of security even higher. So now I've got one of those authorization code
Oh yeah.
apps,
Those
which I
apps. Yeah.
don't love, but I don't often log into that remotely. So the
Yeah.
way I knew for sure something was going on is all of a sudden my Hotmail account stopped working on my iPhone and it wanted me to re-enter my new password.
Yep.
That's how you know, guys. So
I got hit.
last night with my Apple ID, same thing at work. I've been noticing some weird shenanigans at work. So you guys have to be careful with your online personality. Make sure you're two-factoring everything. Don't leave just one password, knife 345 exclamation point, protecting you from savages out there.
If you guys don't know what two-factor authentication means, anything important, like really important, you should have it on. So if you don't want your Facebook account to get hacked and someone hijack it and go scam with it, turn on two-factor, which it will send you a text message to your phone that you have to confirm, or it will send you a approval request inside the Facebook app on your phone. There's different ways that the two-factor works, but it's the
Yeah.
way that physically you have to have a second device to approve someone logging into an account that's not your home-based device. It's very important. I have it on Instagram 100%. I have it on my Facebook, and anything else important, I leave it on.
Speaking of Instagram, they 100% do not give a fuck if your account gets stolen. So it doesn't matter how famous you are. They will just ignore your requests. So somebody could steal your account. And many of you watching right now have had that happen. I think it happened to, man, didn't it happen to Bill? I think Bill Booth had his stolen.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
So you email them and they're like, we can't do anything for you, as if they couldn't, but they won't. So you got to make sure you're using two-factor authentication. Make sure it's hard to break in. So the other thing that's for sure is like it used to be that 8 characters and a symbol was enough for a password. You really want to get a lot bigger than that. So current recommendation is like 2 or 3 words that don't have anything to do with each other. That's a good way to do it. So you might say like Encyclopedia Dallas, macaroni and cheese. It's
That's a
really
pretty good
long.
one.
It's really,
Yeah.
really long. Capitalize some of them and then add a number and a symbol. that's a really, really good password, because the number of characters gets exponentially harder to decode it the longer it gets.
Whatever you do, don't make your password so long you have to write it down on a piece of paper and then refer to it every single time. Mom,
See, my parents
dad,
do that. They have
mom
an
and dad,
address
if you're
book.
watching.
Yeah, they have an address book with pencil in it.
Yeah.
So whenever they have to change their password, they rewrite it.
I mean, someone breaks into my parents' house, they're going to steal that little notepad that's got all the passwords on it for their whole life.
Right. Well, Tom, I woke up with a fever today. I felt like I even got 9 hours sleep, but I woke up about 5 times during the night, just restless. Woke up, felt like somebody just beat me up with a hammer. I've been on the run for 2 weeks. I've not slept in my bed more than 3 nights in 2 weeks, so I'm pretty worn out. And I spent all day just laying around on the couch or in a bed. And I don't know how much energy I have for you guys tonight, but we're gonna try. It's tough being a Nigerian knife collector. Yeah. So 25 years ago, I was selling guitars on the internet, and couldn't sell guitars there either. So we have to block all of Africa because you just didn't know what was going to happen. So yeah, got it rough over there. I found a deal on something I wanted the other day. Timestamp looked fishy. The guy wouldn't send me a video when I asked. Never been scammed. Sometimes you just got to play it safe, no matter how bad you want the sale item. Man, I'm just remembering I promised a guy a video of a knife on Thursday, and I never did it.
Scammer. I'll have to admit this happened today. Someone posted in the group a screenshot of someone's profile and said, "Hey, is this person a scammer?" And I'm like, that looks familiar. And the reason it looks familiar, and I will have to admit this, is someone about 2 weeks ago or a week ago or something like that had messaged me about that person and said, "I think this is a scammer." And I went and I examined their profile in depth, and nothing that they had done other than say the word "sir" in the conversation with the person that they were selling it to was enough to trigger me to ban someone from the group. So we were going to follow up on it and see if anything else came of it. No, they stayed in the group and they did scam somebody. So the profile was good enough that I couldn't justifiably kick them out over nothing yet. So they're getting good. I searched through it and looked for likes and all that crap and groups and friends and everything.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder. Did you notice Facebook removed the ability to look at the URL from their profile link?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so now it just says copy profile link, but it won't show you what it is. Thanks a lot. Thanks for making it harder.
Yeah. No. Uh-oh, look who we got in the house.
Oh, look who's back. That kid.
It's not JM anymore. It's actually now back to Justin. That's good. That'll be easier to find.
I agree. What's up, Jeff? Not a scammer, indeed. So, let's see. There's been a lot going on, Tom. Where should we start? What do you want to start on? Start on the coin?
Well, we used to always start on what'd you get, because we used to get stuff a lot, and I think we both got some stuff to get. So let's talk about what we got.
What'd you get?
I got a Hapstone RS, which is the new budget entry-level sharpener from Hapstone. It is $200 from Grinomatic or from Hapstone Direct.
For those who don't know, Hapstones are made in Ukraine.
Yep.
And they're very, very well regarded as far as sharpeners go, but Tom and I haven't had any experience with one yet.
So to compare,
tell us what you found.
This is a Cadet TS Prof. This is the Hapstone. So they're pretty close to the same size, actually. I put them in the same class. They both weigh almost the same now that I'm holding them. So smaller base, but sturdy. Doesn't scoot all over your desk. It's got nice little feet. But it's really simple. I guess that's how they made it so cheap. There's nothing that's overly complicated about this compared to the TS Prof's kind of complicated the way the mechanisms work.
It seems kind of KME simple.
Yeah, this is just it's got 2 clamps that you can position.
I love how those clamps are shaped. Look how versatile that is.
So these clamps, you can have them this way, or you can flip them over and go wide. and
You
you
can go
can move
wide,
them in and
narrow,
out.
halfway, left, right.
So this will pinch anything. So I don't know why they offer a kit that has 4 clamps. I'm sure you can go real crazy with that one. But this, you can get any. You can get a kitchen knife. You can get whatever you want on this. This thing runs on 6 or 4-inch stones. So 6 inches is what everyone, except for KME users, are used to using. It's a universal stone holder. Works just like you pull this back, lock it in. It uses Edge Pro style stones, or what they're usually called.
Is that a steel rod with aluminum tool holding?
Yes.
Nice.
Steel rod, aluminum, CNC parts. So this is the part that I didn't understand when you look at the picture of it. So on most systems, there's an eyelet right here where the guide rod goes through and carries the stone. The half-stone was hard for me to comprehend until I got my hands on it, because what it actually is, there's a ball with a magnet that sits right here. It's very secure. You're not going to hop this thing off.
I was really worried about that thing hopping.
No.
No.
I went to town on this thing. It will not pop off.
You're not nice to sharpeners, so if it worked for you, it'll work for anybody.
It's not going to pop off. So this goes inside of here. And so this is what's weird, is the rod doesn't move past the bench point. It goes inside of the handle. So it keeps your desk space nice and small when all you're trying to sharpen is that. The one weird thing that is, I will get used to it. It's kind of like the nub on the Shaman. You'll get used to it, but it's annoying. Because this is a rod within a rod, so this is the bottom of the hole. That's the hole where the rod can come out, because it goes through the handle. So you have to kind of adjust your grip if you're going to sharpen a small knife where your stock collar is up high. Like, you have this rod that comes out and pokes you in the hand. And that hole, if you just naturally hold it like this, or the way I hold it with my palm on it, it creates a vacuum when you piston action.
Yeah.
See, it just goes whoop.
Yep. You gotta
so
hold
it makes sharpening kind of awkward if you accidentally plug that hole, and all of a sudden you have like this springy action. That's the only thing so far I found that's like a negative for me, is just that hole in the weird handle. But I set my stop collar up so the handle can't come through it, and that's solved most of my complaints. Now it's just a matter of getting used to holding it a certain way where it doesn't block it. It's like having a frame lock that you can't press the lock bar. You just gotta, muscle memory it. Here's how this turns. You just flip it. It's pretty secure. It's not going to move on its own. Snaps into place. The 0 level area right here is where you put.
Oh, nice. They actually deliberately made a spot for it.
They put that there. So this is the 0 area. You zero it out there. Then you put the rod on. And there's a place right here on the rod for it as well. So that's how you get your angle. The clamps work well. They don't work as well as my TS Prof clamps. It just might be I need to get used to using them and cranking them down, because they have these 2 big screws. But you got to, at least when I set the knives up in there, you got to really, really crank them down to center the knife to get it to be in there. Without
will your TS Prof clamp work on it? Did you try?
Oh, fuck yeah, it will.
You might be able to just put the clamp on there.
Yeah, it should work. Maybe there's like little tracks, but it might fit on there.
Yeah.
I don't know. For $200 though, I bought this on Black Friday for $170 from Gritomatic. I don't need it. Like, I have my Cadet. I love my Cadet. I don't like recommending it, because when I bought mine, they were cheaper before the war started, and now Cadets, they're from Russia, they're expensive, they're a lot of money. And so now to find something I can recommend that's at the lower price point from Ukraine instead, I'm happy to find something. So I was like, I wanted to do this just so I could speak intelligently to the sharpener.
So how does it work? Does it work in your opinion? Does it work well?
It works like my cadet.
Yeah.
It really does. It works like a smaller form factor, yet sturdy, well machined piece of equipment that doesn't. It feels like it's scientific. It feels like a microscope. It feels like everything clicks and clacks, snaps on. It's designed to be together.
Nice.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the money for a $200 sharpener. I will probably still use this most of the time, but honestly, it's probably just because I'm used to it. And so we'll see over time if I get more used to this handle, if this becomes my new default. But
I like the
for
shape
now,
of it a lot better.
yeah.
The TS Prof handle shape is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
The ball's too small, and then your fingers end up on the steel parts. And then if you don't wear gloves or wrap your fingers in tape, then you end up with these dark black spots on your fingers from touching.
Oh no, I just have big giant calluses there now.
That part's not great if you're on the TS Prof.
Yeah, I definitely approve of this Halfstone. I still approve my TS Prof, but this will probably be what I recommend to people looking for moving up from a KME. This is a legit sharpener. You can do anything on this. So it's all about stone selection then, and yeah. So I'm happy that game. What'd you get?
I didn't get anything. Nothing in the mail.
Nothing in the mail.
I've been good for 2 weeks, so.
Oh, that's true.
Nothing for me. I got my coins.
Ooh! Which numbers did you get?
I got a couple. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the coins overall. That one psycho that keeps arguing with everybody about how he wasn't consulted before ordering the coins. You know, maybe he probably won't watch this, otherwise he would feel like he was connected a little bit. But just for him, he needs to know, like, this is not a democracy. We don't owe it to you to ask your opinion on everything. There's 18,000 members. Why would we do that? So,
well, it was his first post.
Yeah, it was his first post. So if he wants to be included in knife stuff, then he should start his own group and see how it goes. But you know, he didn't really come at us respectfully about it. He was just like, the last coins were knife related and this one's shitty. So I don't feel like I need to spare his feelings at this point, especially since everybody tried to explain it to him and he still was being a jerk.
Yep. And the funny thing to me is, like, oh, the other ones are knife related. I'm like, really? One of them has a tiger on it. Why is that knife related? Oh, because of imaginary language that we created that's silly and crazy. We have a tiger on there. So
right.
That's
it's emoji related. That's not knife related. And you're taking on faith that there's actually a knife related to it. Like that, there's no proof of that. So yeah, that guy just wanted to argue. And then as people would make points, and he would still just continue to take a stance of, yeah, but still, that was the summation of his argument.
I thought he was done when I finally commented on there, and he goes, I'm starting to understand this group. And then the next day, the post was live again, and he was back at it again. And I'm like, oh, I guess he doesn't get it.
I don't need him to understand. Like, and also you don't have to buy it. There's guys, you don't have to buy anything to be a part of this group. Nothing.
No.
All this stuff is voluntary. If you want a leather sleeve for your coin, both emblazoned with our logo, you can. If you want to work mat, you can get it. If you want T-shirts, you can get it. If you want barware, there's barware available. There's a link in the top of the group where you can order glass products with the logo of the club on it. There's crap out there you can have, and
we do this for you guys. It's not like we need to sell this to like make bank, because we're not making money off.
We're not making money from this stuff. We don't get a royalty when we sell things. It's just because it's fun.
Yeah.
So people ask me for stuff from time to time, and they'll be like, "Hey man, can you make lanyards?" I don't want a lanyard, so no. Can you make lanyard beads? Again, no. Don't. I think lanyards are dumb, and I don't need one. And then, you know, we're not going to have shoelaces. We're not going to have commemorative totes. We're not going to have, you know, all kinds of crap. Like, we're not in this for profit. It's for fun. Oh, and by the way, if you want stickers, just order a knife from cutleryshop.com and you'll get a free sticker.
Speaking of stickers, I got some surprises with my coin.
Yeah, we should. We haven't talked about that yet, have we?
No, we haven't. Nothing to do with the shenanigans. This was All Jeff.
Tom and I did not know that this was happening. Jeff promised us a surprise addition to the coin, and we didn't know what it was. And at the time, I was like, "All right, Jeff." So then, lo and behold, I'm tagged in a post on Facebook while I've been so busy at work. I haven't even had time for Facebook, guys. But I pull up a post and I see these bastards. Look how good we look. Frankly, we do look pretty good, I guess.
Mine has been edited. I looked at it like, you know what? That picture of me is really fucking good. Like better than any picture I have of me. And I went to try to find where that came from. I'm like, oh, it's been enhanced.
Yeah, that's surgically enhanced. You have bigger boobs in that one.
Yes.
And then this photo, guys, I was texting Jeff on a Saturday. And I was like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm at the barber shop. And I just left the barber. So I took a picture of myself being silly. And he somehow saved it. And now it became a gag in the coins. And to be perfectly honest with all of you, I was not super happy about it. The reason is I get accused enough of being an egotistical asshole by people that don't like me in this group, or mostly people that aren't in the group anymore and they complain somewhere else. So I was worried that this would be perceived as Tom and I being ego driven, and we had to include pictures of ourselves. There was a time 2 years ago where Tom and I had a banner picture of he and I with Sal and Eric at Blade Show, and we were accused of being arrogant assholes for deigning to put pictures of us on the internet with Eric and Sal Glesser, ostensibly the reason we have a group. So when I thought of that and the stickers, I was just like, this is going to create backlash. But then I saw everybody was having fun with it, and it was funny. It really is funny. So I calmed down, and I wasn't as upset about it.
I got tagged, and I think it might have been the Giant Mouse group this morning. It is a group that I do not frequent by any means, because someone has my picture on their sharpener base. So someone's like, "Mom, more photobomb." Now I get to start popping up in really random places. My mom's got 17 of these things. My mom bought a coin. So here's how you know these knife dealers aren't just like these big faceless businesses. Jeff saw every coin order that came in, looking for people that were familiar, looking for whatever, looking for scammers, just paying attention to it. He saw my mom bought a coin. So he hooked my mom up with some special coinage stuff and a whole bunch of stickers and made her day. And her little boy's got this fun little group with the coin now, and now she has her own.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seth, that was honestly the first thing I thought was guys were going to start slapping them on urinals.
Yep.
And we get 1,000 photos of coins on top of a crane urinal. Yeah, Josh has already getting started. So, yeah. Anyway, very funny.
Coins are great, though, in general. I have to say that. I'm happy how that went. They stayed in stock for about 3, maybe into the 4th day. And so that's good. Everyone had a chance to buy one. We beat it to death promoting it. So if you didn't see it, that means you don't frequent the group enough. So, yeah, I don't anticipate we're making any more of this run, are we, Jason? We're done in the can.
I don't like making more of something like this. Like, why look back?
Yeah.
I understand people still want it, but why look back? Let's look forward to the next thing.
All right.
It's not precious. It's just it's a silly coin with a UFO on it.
If you want a coin, I'm seeing them in the group. A lot of people bought 2, and they're selling them for cost. So if you missed a coin and want one, just put in a search of post up, and you'll find one.
Yeah, make friends. You'll find somebody with one that doesn't want it. But I was really pleased with the way the UFO turned out. It really is raised pretty significantly on the coin.
Yeah.
The pyramids are painted, so they're not just etched. They look cool. The pharaoh, it's a legit pharaoh. So, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it turned out awesome.
I think it's pretty cool.
The constellation stands out. Like, see how I turn the coin, and the constellation is kind of contrast. So they turned out cool.
Yes, it's silly. Yes, it's ridiculous. So is this group. Very good representation.
So we move on to like rule number 3. there's all this Rule 9 garbage based on an NCIS show. You know how disappointed I am? It's based on a stupid show my mom likes. NCIS, like, why are people spending $50 for a bronze coin that says
I
Rule
saw
number
someone's
9?
Rule 9 coin a couple days ago that was like lasered like 14 times. It was deep, and I'm like,
What's more played out, Rule number 9 or Monon Lab? Like, they're both pretty played out. So the idea for the Rule number 3 thing was that Rule 9. And of course, if you're in the club, you know that Rule number 3 is do not comment on other people's sale posts. So if we could distill that very long paragraph of a rule down, mind your own business is kind of what it comes down to. So Dan Hawkins, who made these, put MYOB in the bottom of the 3.
that took me a minute to figure that out.
Pretty succinct way of putting it. Mind your own business.
Yeah.
You don't like a price, mind your own business. You think a knife's not cool enough, mind your own business. You think he's charging too much, mind your own business. So, and then the other thing you could say about it is don't be a price Karen. So in this world, we use the word Karen a lot, don't we? For people that huff and puff about things that really they need to calm down about. So just a little tie in there with the Rule 9. It's funny. It's a joke. It's a joke. Comedy.
To further clarify our rule number 3, it's purposefully very short. Do not comment on sales posts. So like, just don't say good luck with sale. Don't say I'll see you this weekend at the birthday party. Don't say anything. If you
I wish I had one.
Yeah, just
Sure
that's what that means. So we get a lot of pushback. We get messages like, "Why'd you delete my comment? I spent like 3 seconds typing GLWS on someone's post. Why would you delete that?" Like,
we don't know what your intent is. Intent matters.
So
you could
could
be a jerk and you're trying to poison that guy's sale post so that it doesn't sell. Just mind your own business. If you're not interested in buying it, then don't comment. If you are interested in buying it and you have questions about the knife, then go ahead. Hey, good. Sharing this Karen. What's up, boys? Coin pulled me back in. Okay, good. Yep. Don't be late. A male Karen is usually known as a Chad.
I thought it was a Kyle. No,
Kyle. Yeah. So
Kyle's
I've heard
Monster energy drink.
And I've heard somebody who's a really bad Chad is a Giga Chad.
Ooh, I've heard that.
I like Giga Chad. Sanborn says Kyle.
It
Patrick
should be this.
Karen.
It should Darren and Karen. That's pretty good. I got to give you that. I like it.
But we can't swim upstream from the conventional. You know, Kyle and Karen. I don't know. I usually go with Chad. Probably. Kevin. Let's talk knives. What's been going on in the knife world?
Okay, Spyderco started making knives again and releasing them to the public. It's been a wild ride, Jason. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Let's see. Recently, this would be Friday, Spyderco had the factory second sale, online factory second sale. So they did the big one week before Thanksgiving in Colorado.
It's been a long time since they had a second sale. How long has it been?
It's been 2 weeks.
No, I mean since the last second sale. It's been like 5 years, right?
Online or in person?
Oh, wait, there's an in-person one. That's right. When was that one? Like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Okay. What about before that? It's been a long time before that.
They only missed like 1 year or 2 years, but they did online to make up for those years. But anyway, this year they have both. And online, as we all have experienced.
This is the second online second sale of the year.
This is the second online second sale of the year. I think the third or fourth ever. But this is the real one. So they advertised it for a couple days, and they did something really smart. I wouldn't have thought of this. Instead of trying to beef up the capacity of Spyderco.com, they got a website that's meant for processing retail transactions, and they ran the second sale through a new, and it worked so well that instead of being sold out after 3 or 4 hours like it usually is, it was sold out after 3 or 4 minutes. People could check out fast. Unfortunately, there was nothing I saw that was like, oh shit, I gotta get that on the seconds that were available. But you could get them. You could get a PM2. You could get a military. You could get a pair of 3. If you're fast. But
they had Murray Carter kitchen knives. That was badass.
That's true. The cool thing, though, well, interesting thing that I've been waiting for since it dropped a week ago is these mystery boxes.
Yeah, the mystery boxes.
Mystery boxes. With mystery. And if you
the
watch
way those work, guys, is they're flat rate, and they promise that they'll fill the box with more than the dollar amount of the stuff. So if you buy the $250 mystery box, they promise you that you're going to get more than $250 worth of stuff inside it. You're just going to get a smattering of different things, and you have to be okay with it. So the surprise level is pretty high.
Surprise level is pretty high. There's 250 or 400. And if you watch Spyderco's Instagram account, you saw that on one of their videos, they walked past a bunch of boxes with the pies on and dropped a pies on one. So there is some crazy knives out there. What I've seen so far.
We don't know what your post is, Facebook user. You should log out and log back in so we know who you are.
I think I know who this. If this is the person I'm thinking of, if yours was the box that was like $4 short of the total or whatever that was supposed to be, I agree. The post that I've seen up across the internet today, I have to agree they got kind of screwed on their mystery box.
Most of the ones I saw were fine.
Yes,
one guy at 250 didn't like his, and I thought it was worth well more than 250. And then somebody at 400, I could see his point. Maybe it wasn't 400.
Yeah,
but
his was a $400 one, and he did not get even up to that dollar value. So that would be 100% justified in being upset. It's not that you're hoping to get $400 worth of stuff. Like, you should get like $500 or whatever. That's what you're buying with the mystery boxes. You're buying more value than I want a Chinese knife I wouldn't have bought, and a random Seiki knife, and whatever.
Coffee mug, hat, stickers, t-shirt.
It's not just about getting to that price. So
right.
We'll see what other ones come out. I'm interested to see the feedback Spyderco gets.
I don't know. My main observation from the frequent second sales is it makes me laugh at the same people who are complaining or crying about the condition of the seconds are the same ones that cry about the mintness of their new ones. So I don't know. There's like, it's funny how they have to have a dead mint, perfect grind, perfect everything, perfect texture when they buy a knife over the counter. And if it's not perfect, they start this whole like Spyderco is really letting their QC slip these days. Like, we hear that, but then at the same time, everybody's lining up to buy seconds, and the seconds don't have a warranty. They may or may not be right. They may or may not be perfect. They may or may not be the right steel. They may or may not be the right finish. Remember there was a couple years ago, we had a black and white knife where one side was satin and one side was DLC. It's hilarious. Like, that could be what you get. And I've had seconds where the pivots didn't work right, or the blades are warped. Those things happen. So if you want a dead mint knife, then maybe you shouldn't participate in the second sale. That's what I'm saying.
I think part of it, coming from someone who has OCD, is it's freeing to know on a second that it's not supposed to be perfect. It's like, it's not an obligation on you to keep it perfect. It's presented to you in a imperfect manner, and that's what it is, and it's cheap, and that's part of its appeal, is that you don't have to feel that way. That's, for me, that's why I like seconds. Like, I have several customized seconds in my box. I don't think about it twice, but I enjoy them a little bit more because I know that I have a maximum pair of 3 I got for $80, and it's like the coolest custom knife, and it was just like, it's a second. It's great.
I hate reducing things to it is what it is, but in this case, you're buying a second knife. You're saving money as you're doing it. There could potentially be problems with it. And if you don't know that going in, then you're misinformed. But they do a good job of talking about that.
Seconds, if we haven't mentioned it enough, will be denoted on every Spyderco. by a small notch on the clip side right next to the jimping right here on the blade. There'll be an extra little jimping. I like the way they do that because it almost looks like it's factory. It's
if you don't look for it, you won't see it.
Yeah, like Kershaw writes XXX on the blade and lasers it in. Like that's lame.
Yep. There's a guitar company that presses a big fat number 2 in the back of the headstock. It looks like somebody just went and punched it. So yeah, there's no mistaking those. So if you bought a second and it isn't centered right, I mean, it is what it is.
Take it apart, put it back together, mess with it, have fun with it, learn from it.
Yeah. There's a new St. Nick's knife coming out, Tom. Excited about that one.
Yeah.
It's a 4V Manix lightweight. So we got DLC 4V in a beautiful dark red, scarlet red FRN handle, FRCP handle.
I'm assuming it's going to be similar to the GP one where it's probably screwed together since it's recently made.
Yeah, it should be.
Big plus. Although I don't recommend taking apart a Manix unless you have to. It's not a fun knife to put back together necessarily. As funny as like I saw that St. Nick's Instagram post the other day, and it reminded me of when I was the day that I was doing my major sell off the first day. I was liquidating my St. Nick's collection, and I couldn't find the Manix lightweight because I thought it already came out. And I spent forever tearing apart everything looking for where my Manix lightweight is. It's because it hasn't come out yet. So that's good to know. I didn't miss it. Now, I think that's the last of the models that, I don't know. I think they've done everything now.
Native Chief lightweight.
Millie too.
They always said they weren't going to do all of them.
That's what I thought too. I thought they were going to be done by now.
Right, me too.
So there's that. There's the Knife Joker Pair 3, which is been available for pre-order. I don't know if they're shipping yet, but you can go buy one right now.
It's a good looking knife. The dark green with the black crew wear looks killer.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, I really love the Pair 3 lightweight. It's a fantastic knife. It's a delight to carry. The downside to it is a lightweight. So don't buy a lightweight and think it's a heavyweight. Don't make it into something it isn't. Cat's not a dog, and a lightweight knife is not a heavyweight knife. So does it flex when you squeeze it? Yeah, a little bit. You know, does it feel super sturdy? No, it's a lightweight. So know that buying it, that it's not an over-engineered knife. The Manix 2 lightweight is certainly a more durable, beefy knife compared to the Pair 3 lightweight. But it's a wonderful lightweight 3-inch blade. So you'll love it. Daniel Baker says throw some AWT scales on them. Yes, you could do that.
Gail Bradley dropped. No big deal. No big deal. Dropped.
Yep. You got the Gail Bradley drop.
Jade with Crewwear Blade HQ, if you're interested. I think they're still in stock.
One of my biggest considerations of I'm saying this wrong. One of my biggest criticisms of the Gail Bradley is it's very difficult to unlock that knife once you open it. And one of the members told us a story about how he had met Gail Bradley, and they said he did that on purpose. Because if you're using that knife, he wanted to make it hard to close so it wouldn't accidentally close. And I'm thinking, most of my knives don't accidentally close, and they're not engineered to be hard to close. And somehow I haven't cut myself with any of them. So I don't know what I would be doing with that knife that I would need extra difficult to close. But it is a pain in the butt. If you have big thumbs, it's not easy to get in there on that lock.
My Instagram post when I announced that, a lot of the comments I saw were, I don't know the Gail Bradley well enough, but apparently they have a weak detent. I believe it. It's a Spyderco. And people are asking, are they going to fix that? Are they going to fix this? Are they going to? I doubt they changed a fucking thing. It's the Gail Bradley with jade scales and a different steel blade. It's the same knife as you're buying I don't think they CQI'd it for Blade HQ to change anything. It's a Gale Bradley.
I wish I'd kept the one that I had modified
with the lock bar access.
Yeah. I ended up giving it to a friend of mine. He loves it. I'm like, okay, go enjoy. I'm losing my voice.
Well, I guess we shouldn't keep you too long.
What else do we have to cover? There's more stuff coming on.
We got Saint Manix, Knife Joker, coins. That's we hit the high points. You went to a knife show. You haven't talked about. You went to
I went to the Kentucky Custom Knife Show. I spent most of my time with Kenyon and with Casey and Mrs. Hedges, Casey's wife, Caitlin, and we had a great time. Really, it was a lot of fun. But compared to the Maker Syndicate in Indianapolis, it just wasn't as good.
Oh, really?
It wasn't as good. Yeah. First of all, the Maker Syndicate. One reason it's better is because it starts at 1:00. So the Kentucky Custom Show starts at 6 p.m. Starting at 6 means you're probably in line. If you want to wait in line, you're in line for 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
With the Makers Show, you're only in line for 12. So for the psychos that want to wait in line, like Josh Haygood, listen to this. Haygood got in the car with 3 other dudes and drove straight through from Kentucky or from Texas. Drove all the way up from Texas to Lexington. They got there at 3 a.m. and just got in line. And they waited all night in the cold and the dark and the rain. And then all day. And then they took turns waiting in line. And then it started raining enough that they had to get rid of the line. Everybody just had to kind of have a handshake agreement that they'd rebuild the line later. So usually by 6 o'clock, half the crowd's hammered because they all went to bourbon distilleries and then they came back and they got hammered before the show. So there's a fair amount of drunkenness. That being said, being 40 minutes from all the world famous distilleries is pretty killer. So before the show, we went to the Buffalo Trace Distillery. We went to the Four Roses Distillery. Last year we went to Woodford. So that part was a lot of fun. We did some tastings and really had fun there. So the bourbon portion of the show is as good as the knife show. The other part that I don't love is that they're supposed to have a 20-minute window where you're not allowed to buy anything to give you time to walk around and look at everything. But they seem to have washed that away this year. So it was a lot of guys running up to a table and just putting their finger on it and then buying it. That being said, it is the same kind of crowd every year. It's the same people over and over. So you get to know everybody. That's really fun. So this psycho, he was there all day, all night, right? All day. The show starts, the show ends, and then they went to dinner, and then they turned and burned and drove all the way home without stopping. So
I think it's funny. Like,
I don't know how he does it. He's not 19.
Back at when I had a job and people were like referring me as like I'm like the knife guy of work and I'm so passionate about knives. Then I see people like Josh who like camp out and like sacrifice their well-being to get the best, most expensive, coolest, craziest knife. I'm like, I'm not that passionate. Like people think I'm there. No, it goes beyond me for sure. Those guys are a different breed.
The dumbest thing that happened was like the Burnley Knucks were going for $2,000 after the show. People were posting ISOs. They're like, I missed the Knuck. I don't understand. Mr. Burnley, I hope he's taking his money and investing it in like pediatric AIDS foundations and stuff like that because I have a hard time sleeping otherwise.
I believe he's an Oregonian.
Great.
Yeah, bringing that money home.
The show was fun. It seemed like it was the same stuff that was super popular. It wasn't a lot new. Edward R. was there, and he's somebody that I've gotten to know through Brian Brown. I love his knives. I love his designs. He makes beautiful, beautiful folders. They're all small to medium sized, like 3 to 3 1/4 blades, so they're not real big, and just gorgeous. He only had 2 pieces available, and they were both auction. So no knife for me this year. I think the top one went for like $3,600. So Pretty saucy.
What was the hard to get knife of the show that everyone wanted?
There's a brand that everybody's always hot for. They always have the same table in the same spot. It's always the hardest to get to, which is annoying. Starts with an M.
American.
American knives. Yeah, Americans are hard to get. Christensen was there. I saw a lot of people carrying his knives. A lot of people had them in their pockets, and his design aesthetic is really cool. I like particularly the textures he does, and that's something that I like in these custom shows, seeing finishes on titanium and finishes on steel that are really cutting edge. Guys are coming up with new ways to do it, and I'm excited to see that kind of trickle into the mainstream stuff. Definitely cool. Yeah, American. Jesus, I bet 500 people entered to win their lottos,
Oh damn!
and I may or may not have entered on the behalf of other people.
I think that's what's got me scared. Is I've been to one. No, I've been to more than one. I've bought knives at one custom knife show, like custom knives, and my advice was taken from Dr. Frunke. He's like, just enter every lotto you can, and if you win a knife, just buy it. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good advice. And now I have a knife that I didn't know the secondary well enough, and it's just been, it's my knife now, I guess. It's not getting sold. It's not moving. So my hesitancy to learn that whole world and learn the secondary markets and learn all that stuff is like kind of a barrier for entry into that world for me.
Some things are hot and some aren't, and some need to be forever knives, and some you can flip and some you can't. Casey Hedges had a $1,200 knife made by a European knife maker, and it had meteorite on it. Like, how cool is that? Fucking meteorite on the handle. It was gorgeous, and it's this beautiful Dama blade. It was a really, really nice knife. He paid $1,200 for it and got a good deal, and he ended up trading it for a user Arius because he'd been trying to sell it for like a year and couldn't sell it. So that's just insane. Like, that's not okay. It shouldn't be that hard to sell stuff. So there he took a loss. Sometimes that happens, but I'm definitely taking the line these days of like, I'm buying the maker as much as the knife.
Yeah.
Because there's so many good people out there that I want to support their work and support the knives they're making. Just good dudes, good people. I think about Bill Koenig and what a good guy he is. Behind the scenes, he does a lot for other knife makers, a lot of knife designers, and being able to support him, I'm happy to own his knives. Not only are they awesome, but I know he's a good dude. So,
side note, he just turned 30 years old. Just turned 30. Just turned 30.
Are you sure it's 30? I thought he was 28.
They announced his birthday on the group when he turned 30.
Okay.
But yeah, fucking kid. Little kids.
He's a little kid.
Making knives.
Yep. There was a guy selling, I don't know, $2,500 slip joints. The Crine table was extremely busy. Shout out Ben Crine. Ben, he's in the group. I think Tom's in the group too.
Tom commented on my photo today of grinding out that heel on a pair of 3. Tom gave me one of these, and I'm like, fuck yeah, Tom Crine gave me a good comment on a grinding photo. That's great.
That's awesome. E-Knives, they were there. Clayton and what's his wife's name? Courtney, I think. I forget her name. It starts with a C. They were both there. They were running around. I did not see John Popper from Blues Traveler. He's there almost every year, but he wasn't there this year. God, what else was there? Brian Brown came with his wife, Mrs. Brown. Got to meet the lovely Mrs. Brown. She was adorable, very funny, very, very sharp. We were talking little girls because they have 3 girls, and we were talking kids. And she pulled out her phone and started running through photos of the little girls. So that was cute. But they were on like a vacation. They went through Smoky Mountain and then came up to the show. So if you didn't know this, there's a Brian Brown exclusive available at Smoky Mountain.
There is already, or there's going to be?
TBD, but it's a Jaeger V3.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty good looking. So imagine being a knife maker and the largest knife retailer in the world wants to carry your stuff. Like, it's a big deal. And for Smoky Mountain to have that partnership with, a really hot maker is pretty killer. So pretty excited about that. Let's see. You guys are going crazy in the comments. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything.
We got a first timer here.
Saw that. Thanks for watching, man. We try to do them every weekend. We've been doing it for about 4 years. Honestly, this is half the reason I survived COVID, was having Tom to be able to vent with. And it all started because he and I used to talk all the time about knives. And one day we were like, I bet we should just talk with other people because it'd be more fun. So we started doing Zoom calls, and they were fun, but we'd only get about 6 people to join. 6 or 7 people would join Zoom. Like, everybody didn't like the extra step of having to go somewhere else to log in, I think. So we figured out how to do it here after Cameron de Beaumont got caught being not a Navy SEAL. That was weird. Anyway, found the software we needed. Now we got the software, so we can stream this. And yeah, we like doing it. It's fun.
I don't enjoy it, but I enjoy the fact that we've improved significantly over doing this over the last, I think we started in 2020, so at least 3 years. Yeah, going on 4. The old episodes are painful.
They are. Yeah.
Painful. So we've grown.
Now we have better microphones, and we've got better lighting, and we've got better cameras. So we should sound and look better.
This is fun. Thank you for joining us, and we're going to keep on doing them. We always do them. There's old ones, too. You can go back and watch old episodes, too, if you search FFIB.
Yep.
There's even episodes with Eric Glesser as our guest.
Yeah, we've had Eric himself on the show 3 times. We've had multiple knife makers on here. Knife store owners have been on here. Knife celebrities. So, hairspray. How dare you? There's no hairspray. Tom, do you use hairspray like a peasant?
I use a comb, and that's it. I don't use any product.
I did buy a knife while I was at the show, and I needed it like I need another asshole. So I did buy a knife at the show. A good friend of mine who's also in the club, his name is Pat Doyle. He's a knife maker. He lives in Michigan, and he's one of those weird knife makers with integrity. Like, he won't take a down payment. He won't take your money from you until he builds the knife. He doesn't like special orders because special orders usually involve lots of like change orders. Hey man, can you change it from this to that? Can you change it from that to this? And he's like, no, I'm just going to make stuff. And if you want it, you can buy it. So he came to the show with a crap load of knives, and he made a variant of a knife that I like a lot that really caught my eye, and I had a hard time saying no. It's a relatively small blade with a Dama.
Oh, wow.
He's done very little Dama. It's the Bjork's taint, I think, like that. The handle is a swirled marble carbon fiber with copper in it. So I've never seen him use this material, and I think he's only done like half a dozen Dama blades. The thumb wheel is copper, which is really cool. And he and we've been having lots of conversations about opening devices. It feels like the flipper tab is kind of dead. A lot of designers are moving away from the flipper tab. But what they're going to is either a thumb stud or a top flipper. And I sure do hate a top flipper. They don't work so good. I'm really coming around on the thumb wheel. It allows you to maintain a really small profile.
Yeah.
To the knife, but it's ambidextrous. It works either way. His pocket clip reminds you of
oh wow,
maybe a Liang Ma. So you've got a little ball on a piece of titanium, but he can customize the standoffs however tall you want it.
Oh, cool. You can fit in your manly man jeans with the big pocket protector.
The best thing he does is his lockup.
His locks are fucking crazy how smooth they are.
They never stick ever. They're always super smooth.
And Jason's saying they're smooth. Like, if you've handled like a really good Sliz Bowie and thought that was buttery smooth, if it didn't have any lock stick, every Doyle knife I've handled it's like pushing air. There's nothing to it. It's not. hard. It's not soft. It just moves out of the way.
There's no friction.
Yeah.
So he makes a larger version of this knife. This is the junior. The junior is, I don't know. I like bigger knives generally, but this one's really cool. And also I like the blade shape. It's an interesting blade shape. A little closer to a leaf than a Bowie, you know. So cool little blade shape, nice handle. So Pat does his own grinds. He does his own lockup. He does his own fitting of all the parts. So he does more in terms of actually making a knife than many of the other knife makers that you have heard of. Terzu was the first to use a disc opener. Yes, he was. I see a lot of disc openers on Emerson's.
Ah, yes.
And it's kind of old school. So it's not, you just don't see it a lot, but it does work well. Think about all the Koenigs right now that everybody wants. They all want the flipper delete. And then the Jaegers came in flipper delete and everybody wanted those. So we're seeing a move away from the flipper tab. Generally, I'm pretty okay with it because flipper tabs just make the knife look strange when they're closed. Like that.
I have yet to find a knife, including a Koenig Arius, that the flipper version makes my hand 100% happy ergonomically. Like, you're sacrificing something having a flipper instead of a finger choil or blank spot to hold on to with your hand or whatever. Like, your flipper kind of dominates the design on how you hold the knife.
Paula points one out. The Vero flipper is fantastic. It works really, really well, and it doesn't look like a flipper tab. So on his knives, like, that's really nice. It's the right size to do the job, but it doesn't stand out like a giant kickstand on the bottom of the knife either.
Yep.
No doubt. Spidey hole's pretty good, but it does make the blade a lot taller.
That's true.
So, yeah, I did buy that knife. So I'm happy to buy a knife for my friend.
How many of those do you have now? Like 4?
Probably 6. Although I did buy an old one from Josh Haygood. This one's super old. And I showed it to Pat, and he was like, "Oh, that knife's really old. This thing's massive. It's not military big, but it's pretty big."
I think I handled that one at Blade Show.
This one's called the Corsair, and really a big beefy blade. This beautiful Damascus, big handle. This one runs on Delrin washers, and I don't know, other than old Spydercos, I've never had any Delrin washer knives, and it definitely slows down the open. So the knives don't thwack open.
Yeah.
They still open as if like a washer knife, but they're a lot slower. So it's more of a delicate open. This one has a marble carbon fiber handle. But yeah, old school. Studs are the best. Studs are good. I like that the knife gets smaller in the pocket when you have studs instead of a hole. But I prefer a hole from the flicky part. We need to get Casey Hedges on here to talk about the Hinderer knives. He gets so fired up about those. Like, Hinderer tells you it's not a flipper, it's a front choil. And then they'll tell you they're not thumb studs, it's the stop bar. And then what else? There's a third way to open those. They'll tell you that it's not that. So it doesn't make sense how exactly you're supposed to open a Hinderer.
The Hinderer flipper looks like it's a parody of itself. It's like
it looks like a trigger on a revolver.
It's a flipper on top of another flipper. Right. It's 2 flippers. It's double flipper.
Right. Yeah, I don't like the look of those. Vero knives just open. I agree. That man spent a lot of time engineering that flipper tab. They just work really, really well.
And now he's had enough iterations of each different design that he's been able to tweak stuff and dial it in even better.
Yep. It would be cool to see more people make their knife flippers like Vero. Try hinder or fire attack. All right, buddy. It's all turned into an I Love Joseph Vero fest. Somebody tag Joseph. It's at Joseph Vero.
He's asleep by now. It's like 10 o'clock in Florida.
That dude's got it figured out. He is the master of his domain. He's got 7 or 8 beautiful knife designs. They come in different flavors and styles. He's constantly mixing it up. Do you see he has a full tie synapse now, Tom?
I did today, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, man, if you like a 3 1/4 inch blade on a really beautiful knife, that'd be pretty cool.
One really cool thing I saw at Vero in the last week was, or two, was he got picked up by a website called Huckberry. And Huckberry is a cool website because they only sell good stuff. It's like men's activewear, like you can buy hoodies and jeans and backpacks and shit. But I think it's cool that he got picked up by like a very cool lifestyle brand and can expand into a whole different. There's so much more of this industry that you can touch and people they can get to. And I think it's really cool that he's on like a different type of branding now.
Well, there's the knife part and then there's the lifestyle brand part, and that can really boost him up. If you don't know, by the way, Joseph Vero is really quick to say good shit. Good shit means awesome. So people in his Facebook group started creating an acronym, JVGS, Joseph Vero good shit. So if Joseph approved of something, then it would be that. Like that was just the sign off for him approving of something. So that's on his new coin, I think.
Got one of those in the mail, headed my way.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to have it. Speaking of, I owe him a Millie Club coin.
This was my project today.
Oh, was that a second or not a second?
This is not a second.
Did someone destroy it?
I can't fully explain what's going on in this picture. Like if you saw it in person, it's even worse than it looks. But the last, I don't know, 3/8 or ½ inch isn't an edge. There's no edge there. It's like kind of like hit the little like bevel, but there's not obviously full bevel. And the part where it kind of swoops up actually swoops up a lot and cuts into the edge.
It looks like somebody used a bench grinder to sharpen it, and they just removed way too much material, but they stayed away from the heel because they didn't want to kill it.
And this side they tackled the clip side of this thing.
Yeah, that's where they made the mistake, and the other side they didn't try.
Yeah. So this showed up, and my process for sharpening is like I just try to make every knife as good as I can make it. And I threw this in my sharpener, and I'm going to town on it. I'm like, wait a second. Before I kill myself, let me ask this person how much they want to spend on me fixing this, or if this is just a beater knife. And they were like, it's just a beater, just make it sharp. But I couldn't just leave it alone. I was like challenged. I wanted to see what I could do with this heel. So there's halfway through the process, that little black mark is where the Sharpie is, and everything else.
Using your B stone on it.
Using 80 grit CBN Hapstone.
Wow.
So you can see where the little part went up high, but straightened out the edge quite a bit. Same thing on the back side. That's not a greatest picture, but here's the final product. And
you fixed it, man.
I was jacked. It was like, I'm not going to charge the guy for all the time I spent doing it. It was like my own little challenge. I wanted to see if I could save this knife. And that was my little project for the day.
Yeah, sometimes those projects turn into a big deal because you don't want to let it defeat you. It's a chance to learn something.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of knives myself that look like that. So I had to tackle somebody else's. And I don't know. Something, it's not maybe the best advice to live by, but when you're sharpening, usually the answer on a Spyderco is keep on going, which is really can be dangerous. But like if something looks like it's not right, if you're working on a heel, if you're working on a bevel, keep on going. And that sounds scary because sometimes stuff looks worse, like you're going to make it worse. But a lot of times you just got to keep on going, make everything even, and it all works out at the end.
Yeah, the edges I've sharpened, I'm most embarrassed about. I didn't keep on going.
Yeah,
So
you think
there's
you're
a
gonna
lot.
fuck it up, and then you kind of stop and get hesitant.
I get scared that I'm going to remove too much material, and then I start moving up in stones, thinking, oh well, the next 7 stones I use will be enough to remove the last of the material, so that'll
Yeah,
finish just right at the finish line. And the answer is no, you won't. Like that flaw will still be there. So make it perfect with the lowest stone you got, and then from there it's about scratch removal. That's what it should be.
yeah.
Well, Tom, I need to lay down. My chest is burning, and I haven't talked this much all day. So
Okay,
I think I better go take some cough medicine and go to bed because I'm
do
really
it.
tired. Look at my face. Look.
I look at your face all the time. I don't. I gotta put this on my computer screen. Put it on my monitor so I can see all the time.
I think I'm gonna have to give my mom some for Christmas.
Or how many Jeff has? Jeff probably printed 1,000 of the damn things.
I think he said he ended up with 400 more Toms than Jason's. Pretty funny.
That's funny.
Yep.
Alrighty, well that sounds good. Let's wrap this up.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for hanging in with me through my less than. I don't know. I feel like somebody pulled the batteries out of my back. So I appreciate you guys watching tonight, and thanks for the well wishes, everybody. Appreciate it. But we'll see you next week, and we'll talk more knives, and hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, I can find a Murray Carter somewhere. Like I'm so happy with the knife I got. I don't know what it's called. It's that like butcher knife. It looks like a meat cleaver style, Japanese style knife, and man, it is so cool for processing veggies and cutting shit. It's great in the kitchen. So
And does it have a hole in it?
No.
Like a little, not even a little tiny little one?
Nope, but it's a laminate blade. It's super blue, and that's sus 410, I think.
Nice.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.